Warning. The following podcast contains explicit language, honest opinions and a sense of humor. Welcome to the Brothers Take.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our podcast. I am Chris, joined by my brothers Adam and Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room to talk more about video games. And if you are coming back to the series, then welcome back. But if it's your first time listening to us, then we are three brothers who like to discuss video games and video game inspired topics. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the very recent PS5 Showcase event and everything that was shown at it. So we're going to talk about the pricing, which was I think the big thing that it was drawing people to watch the event in the first place. That most people were probably just watching going, yeah, that's great and all, but show us the price.
Yeah.
And the launch date and all that. But we're also going to take each game as it was revealed and give our thoughts on it. Some will have a lot more to say about others. We might be excited about it. We might not be excited for it. We might have concerns about it. We're going to share all those thoughts. I will also get into a little bit of controversy that has come up in terms of the pre-orders that a lot of people are talking about. We'll give our thoughts on that whole thing as well. So basically, it's all of our honest thoughts on the PS5 Showcase. If you are watching us on YouTube, as we talk about each game and each aspect of the showcase, maybe jump into the comments, let us know what your thoughts are on it, if you're looking forward to it, if you're not looking forward to it, and why. And if you're listening to us on audio platforms, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you can get in touch on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, to let us know what you thought about all the games that were shown, the console itself, the release date, the pricing, and whether or not you went, fuck this, I'm getting an Xbox. Okay. I think that's enough of a setup for the episode. Once the music hits, we're getting straight into it. So let's fucking do it. Okay, so the first thing I suppose and we'll take it much like we did with the DC Fandom event. We kind of went topic by topic, and some of them we had a lot more to say than others, and those are the ones that kind of generated a lot more discussion. So for some of these, I might be like, yep, saw it, cool, move on. And for some of them, I might be like, no, I think you're wrong. I am excited. So the first thing that
but when do we ever do that? When do we ever disagree with each other?
You know what? I have a feeling. I think we're going to. First of all, before we get into each one, actually, why don't we just say, in general, what were your thoughts on the showcase as a whole? And I'm going to come to Adam first.
My thoughts were pretty meh.
Fuck you.
Pretty meh.
Okay.
I do think, out of all the things that I was kind of looking for out of this, which was mostly the price and the release date, I think they could have just sent a tweet, to be honest. Like, most of these games we've already seen, and actually probably all of them we've seen all of them, I think, except for maybe Final Fantasy and the Hogwarts one. That's probably it, but we've seen all the rest of them, I think. So
right.
it was just more of the same, and there's a lot more that I would have loved to have seen, more console related.
Yeah.
Because I've already seen the games. Like, you already sold me on the games from the last event. It's like okay, all right, I get it.
Okay, how about you, Eric? What did you think about the event as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, again, because you went to Adam first, you know exactly like whatever Adam says. This is gotta be pretty much what I said.
He said it, I agree with it.
I don't really have to say, I actually am gonna mention something specific because fuck your questions, Chris. I really liked the presentation of the PlayStation Plus thing. That thing actually got me, even though it was all games we all already have.
Yeah.
But it was still very cool that for PS5 we're gonna like that, and just showing all the AAA games one after another, and just kind of the color and effects and everything used for that was pretty cool. That thing actually got me really excited.
Right. That's a good package. I think if no one, for whatever reason, didn't have a PS4 at all, That's a
That was
great
really
way to jump into the PS5.
Yeah.
I also love that with it. It's like, oh yeah, like we're getting all these triple games: Uncharted 4, Arkham Knight, God of War, Days Gone, Last of Us remastered. Not gonna bother with Last of Us 2. That's like, all right.
No, but they're not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna put anything that's so new. I
It
think.
seems as though it's the games, maybe apart from Days
there's
Gone. I'm not sure about Days Gone, but it looks as though most of the games seem to be the are they called the Essentials or something like that? The 20 quid games.
It looked to me that God of War was the newest game in that list.
No, Days Gone is.
Is that newer than God of War? I thought that came out that same year. Oh, it came out the following year, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was like a January, February release. It was really early. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
I mean, like, yeah, everything. Well, we're going to get into more details with all the other stuff, but like, yeah, just pretty much like what Adam said. Like, most of the stuff was more or less what we already saw. Could have just released it without the showcase. Could have just went, here's the price. It's pretty slick. It's a pretty nice price. You're all gonna buy it. We know you're. Like, all right.
Nice, thanks, Sony.
Not if they have something to do about it.
Yeah. And we'll get into that. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. No, I'm joking. I suppose there's two ways to look at it, right? Like PS5 Showcase, you would think they're showcasing the console itself, maybe. Telling us a bit about what the console does, what are its new features, and I would have liked to have seen some of that, but a lot of people don't like to see that. They like to just I'm going to get it anyway, so I'll figure that shit out when I'm playing it. I just want to know what games are going to come my way. Whatever. As a games showcase, it was my favorite showcase so far this year of all the showcases we saw. I actually came out really hyped. I was like, it's like fucking hit after hit after hit for me. I was like, fuck yeah, I can't fucking wait to play most of these.
That's
a lot
fair.
Of these games.
Like, it's definitely a better game showcase than the last one.
Yeah, it is. So maybe they should have called it a game showcase because that's what it was more so.
Mm-hmm.
And as a games showcase, I thought it was fucking really good. And the hype was mighty by the end of it. Especially at the end of it. At the end of it, my hype was like, that can't be true. I have never really talked to my television as I watch a trailer. Like, I know, like, I love watching reaction videos of people reacting to trailers on YouTube where they actually talk along with it because, and I don't know if part of it is scripted or it's just characters, but because I don't do that, I just watch a trailer, take it all in, and very few times.
Are you telling me you watched the Final Fantasy VII remake?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's always a few where I go, fuck off, no way. And then I get to
Midgar looks just like that.
Midgar looks just like that. Or the Batman one, like that we talked about for DC Fandom, for example, was one where I went, I can't believe this is real. Yeah, at the very end, and we'll get to it, at the very end of this showcase, I went, no, that's not true. And then I saw a year and I went, fuck off. Right, so I told him, I was like, that can't be true. Anyway. Let's take it bit by bit and see where we all feel about each thing. I actually think we're all going to feel, for the first time in a long time, we are not going to agree on everything. We're going to feel totally fucking different. We'll see. I don't know. Unless I tell Adam to talk first, and then Eric might go, yeah, nail on the head. He got it. He got it in one. Okay. So I suppose the first thing they showed was like a montage of stuff, and it was basically a montage of the stuff that we saw from the last showcase, which was nearly like a recap of like, last time on PlayStation 5. But then the first new thing was Final Fantasy 16, which was being shown on a PC.
Yeah.
Emulating the PS5. Thought that was weird. At least they were honest about it. Like, they were straight up. But I thought that was kind of weird. Maybe just announce it and don't show us anything yet or something. But anyway.
Isn't it weird? Like, as I was watching it with Pagan, and like the minute it barely got into it, and I was like, oh yes, it's a new Final Fantasy. Like, did any use know immediately that this was Final Fantasy?
Well, that was the first thing actually when it comes to the showcase. That was the first thing I saw on YouTube 40 minutes after it was launched. So for me, yeah, because it just says here's Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah. I actually, unfortunately, missed the start of the showcase, and I had to. So when I went into it, and I had to rewind back then and then watch it. Yeah. But at the point when I went into it was at the title reveal.
Okay.
So I knew what it was, and I was like, "Ah, fuck! I want to see what that was." Yeah, because I was like, I would have much rather see it revealed in front of me. But then when you get back to the start of it anyway, I was like, "Oh, it's not secretive at all." Like,
It's
you
bang
get-
on. Like it
you
is
know
a Final
exactly
Fantasy game. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
you know exactly.
It was.
Eric, actually, your general thoughts on it, I think first, because
Yeah, because
Very-
I straight after watched it, messaged into our group chat to give my general thoughts of just like they need to hire a trailer maker for their fucking trailers. Because apart from Final Fantasy VII, they fucking suck at trailers. They
Right.
just give you all the information. It's like this is the enemy. This is the twist. Here's beginning, middle, and end. Thanks for that. I don't need to fucking play the game now because you just spoiled the whole thing for me on the trailer. But there's 4 minutes and 20 something seconds long, like of a trailer. Is like the trailer is actually too long, and
Right.
it feels long. It feels like I'm watching a fucking like when someone does all the cutscenes from a video game. That's what it felt like. I was just watching all the cutscenes in this video game. And then when it did show bits of gameplay, I was like, right, well, this is a massive step back from Final Fantasy VII because its gameplay feels as slow and clunky as Final Fantasy 15's gameplay.
Right.
With all the zipping and then just kind of holding the attack button and he's kind of just swinging, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, slowly hacking away the enemy's health. Like, and it was just like this.
I like the hoopa doopa doop.
I had very little good things to say about this game. I think there was 2 things I liked about it.
Right.
When it did show gameplay, the actual design of the map looked very dark and murky and almost something like from Dark Souls. And I was like, that's kind of sorry, just 3 things I like. I was like, that's kind of cool. Okay, so maybe we'll get a darker fantasy. But then you hear them talk and you go, we're definitely not getting a darker fantasy game. But then you see some guy gets killed and blood splashes on this child's face with like a child's the main character. I was like, okay, so there's blood in this. They're getting a bit more mature with their content, but then you hear them talk and then you're like, but they're not actually. And then also having the third thing I really liked about it was it seems like all the summons, which are usually your allies, are the villains in this or something. That kind of seems to be like
definitely summon, right? It's definitely a conflict with summons.
Yeah, and that looks, and again, taking that aspect from 15, which was the coolest thing, which was these summons being these colossal creatures. So I like that too.
Just for a second, I'm going to disagree with you on something.
You don't like the colossal creatures?
No, I like colossal creatures. I actually think from what we saw and from them talking, that this game is darker than many Final Fantasies usually are.
It probably is.
Like, it didn't have the anime-isms of 15. It felt more.
It didn't really seem to have the. It felt more like it didn't feel like even like a Final Fantasy game. It felt like
Dragon Age Inquisition.
No. The game company Spider that made like Bound by Blood and or Bound by Flame and Greedfall. I think that company made those 2. Play Greedfall, right? It's on PlayStation now. Just download it or stream it. Play about 5 minutes of it, and that's nearly all you need to play that game. And it pretty much felt like the same fucking thing. Like it didn't really do anything for me.
Here's Eric, the harsh game critic. Adam, what did you think of Final Fantasy 16?
I'm not gonna be as harsh as that because I don't think we can judge it yet.
I think there's a lot more to see, to be honest.
I think we're seeing very early on stuff. I don't like the game's absolutely not finished, so it looks to me as though that they're kind of trying to like Final Fantasy VII Remake is there to play to the hearts of those who love Final Fantasy VII essentially, as well as some of the like maybe 8 and 10 and some of the kind of more grounded style Final Fantasies, I guess. This to me 16 kind of looks like it's trying to play back to like the original Final Fantasies and 9 and 12, like the fantasy ones.
Yeah.
Which I was never really a fan of personally, but there is a huge audience that does love that side of Final Fantasy. So this could be a return to form, because I thought 15 was brutal. I really did. I didn't like anything about 15. I don't think this is for me either, personally. I don't think I'm going to actually play 16, but I would be interested to see where it goes.
Okay.
Basically.
I was really surprised that this was the first thing they showed. There's been rumors for a long time about Final Fantasy 16, but I still thought it was a long way off. I did not think we'd be seeing it being announced in any kind of way, and if we did, I just thought it'd be like a bit of speaking and the logo. I did not think we would get a look at gameplay and voice acting and graphics. Now, I will say that the graphics that I saw, I thought were no better than 15.
Yeah, they look pretty.
To be honest, I didn't, but I do think that it's. I think this game is a long way off. Most of the other games they either said is coming this year or they said 2021. I will get into some of those. This one they mentioned nothing about a release date. I think this is years away. I like 2 or 3 years away. I'd say. I don't think this is.
This almost
Final Fantasy
looked like
games take a long time.
Yeah, this to me almost looked like a sales pitch.
Almost, yeah.
To something they haven't even started yet.
I was like Final Fantasy as a series is hit or miss for me. In that when it hits, they're the fucking best games ever. And then when it just totally depends on the person. Every Final Fantasy is so fucking different. Like I'd say there's very few people. There obviously are people out there that like every single entry that are just a hardcore Final Fantasy fan, true and true. But like you can love one and it can be, well, for me, one of them is the best game ever, and then the next one can be a total piece of shit. You know what I mean? In your opinion or in your estimation. I remember being very excited for Final Fantasy 12 and hating it. And yet it got a remaster and it's well loved. And if you look at top 10 Final Fantasy game lists, it tends to get up quite high. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. What's the so they just clicked differently. This one, I don't know. I'd like to see more of it. I don't know if it's going to click. I didn't like the main character's character model, but it also looked to me like there are 2 protagonists in this game.
Yeah, they kind of look like that, right?
Which could be interesting. And the medieval setting, I think, is a good move. Actually, I think it's the right move, because I think the Final Fantasy VII remake series, and I think so this is obviously going to come out, and then the next remake will come out after that. You know, that kind of way. Like this is a Final Fantasy to fill the gap in a way, as well as being the next big entry.
Yeah, I kind of wish as well though that like how long is this gonna go? You know what I mean? Are we gonna get to Final Fantasy 25? Like, is this gonna just keep going like that?
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
And I wish that they would be a little bit more precious with the numerical games.
Right.
Because
do you feel like this just feels like it's just another game?
Well, it's like I said, it's really hard to tell, but just because of how 15 like 15 was just so fucking bad.
So what, you know what? Some of the issues of 15, I'll admit I enjoyed 15. I enjoyed it, but I don't by any means. It's not in any kind of top 20 list of all time or anything like that. Like it's nowhere near that kind of caliber. It's nowhere up as high as the Final Fantasy.
But it's not in the top 20 Final Fantasies, isn't that?
No, it's very. There's not any of them when you take a spin off. So. No, like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't like about it, but like the cycle that game went through, like it didn't start off as a main entry, and it kind of feels like later on they just slapped the main entry onto it. It was made as a spin-off in the beginning. Just it was supposed to be called Versus 13.
Yeah.
That
number I think is just it whole like when you look at every other like because it's a very short game, Final Fantasy 15.
In the grand scope of Final Fantasies, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I just think that those numerical games are always kind of there is something groundbreaking. There's something new, whether you like them or not. Like say like the job system in 12, like for example, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really like 12 either. I didn't click with me, but you can see that system is just so different to, let's say, the dress spheres and the sphere grid from 10. Like they really re-engineer how the games work and feel and run and stuff like that. I didn't quite get that from 15. Like 15 to me just felt like a long, like since 13. Since 13, Final Fantasy has been trying to perfect essentially what they achieved in 7, which is a more action-oriented JRPG.
Yeah.
Where in the past, every Final Fantasy has had its own unique take on the battle system and upgrade and etc. I think it's lost that for me, and that's my only skepticism with this is like it's so soon since 15 and it's already the next numerical Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but I think like going back, sure, like Final Fantasy 9 came out and Final Fantasy 10 came out like the year after, and they were so different. But like they used to release like James Bond movies, and then you get your big long gap because nobody knows what the fuck to do with the franchise, right?
Yeah.
They used to release like Clockwork because they just had different teams working on them. I'm not surprised with the turnaround because I think the long wait for 15 was a huge criticism actually.
Yeah, that
and
was,
so many
yeah.
people felt like, because then what happened was, as a result of the game went through a lot of changes and evolutions, but as a result what happened was, people were like, I waited 10 years to play this.
Yeah.
As opposed to like that version of the game probably only took 4 years to make, maybe, because it just kept getting scrapped and restarted and scrapped and restarted. And
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like it didn't, like that game did not take 10 years to make. That's kind of not really the way to look at that. Because if it did, that doesn't show.
Yeah.
Not to be really harsh or critical, but I just think that's the truth.
Yeah.
I think with this one, I want to see more of it. I don't think the battle system will be like 15. I actually think it is going to have its own unique battle system. We're just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, I would love to find a new Final Fantasy that just makes me feel like how I did when I played 10 again.
I know.
That's really what I want, and hopefully this is it. I don't know. It's just for me. There's something about from 13 onwards, nearly everything looks the same.
Right.
Like the aesthetic is, like I said, like this was like a few seconds into this trailer, and I was like, oh yes, the new Final Fantasy. Like I shouldn't be able to say that. Right?
Yeah. It should be nearly like, what is it? Like,
Yeah.
and then just throw you off. Like, holy fuck. I was Eric brought it up, and it was one of the good things Eric said about it was the shot of the blood going on the child's face.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm seeing blood in this, it's got hope. It's like
Yeah.
that's got hope for me. Like, because you don't get, like, even in 15, you don't get that kind of a thing at all.
No.
You don't get blood.
Not from the game, no.
No. So I don't know. It could be, a dark drama. Like, it's a different team as well. Like, they always have a different team for most of the Final Fantasies. So it's hard to know what way they're going to approach it in terms of tone.
Look, guys, because you guys asked my opinion on it, that's what I gave.
No, I know.
I
I at this point, everyone is like as right about it as, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know what it's really going to be like, but just from what we've seen,
I hope it's good. I do hope it's good. Because
that, I feel the same way. I hope it's good. I don't know if it's going to be for me. That's where I fall.
I think the thing that I think was throwing me off the most and making me feel very like, was just the really kind of posh English accents for everybody. Where it's kind of everyone kind of sounds the same, and it's within RPGs. I think the big posh English accent is just not the most interesting accent to listen to.
I wondered, were they a little bit inspired? And I did think it watching it. Were they a little bit inspired by Game of Thrones?
I think so as well, actually.
Because seeing those guys around the campfire, they just reminded me of like the Night Watch kind of thing. And then seeing all the royal kind of things and looking after the little child, he's obviously important. And then the blood going on the face, it reminded me of like maybe someone in, like maybe there's like a royal game of, and there was people talking around a table at one point.
Yeah.
I actually think, I'm not saying it's going to be anything as mature as Game of Thrones at all. But I think that whoever's working on this one might have been inspired by some medieval dramas like that.
That would be really cool because that's something we haven't seen yet really in Final Fantasy. Like if there was some sort of speech-based system that would affect maybe how your party how they actually perform in battle and stuff like that.
Choosing what you say and stuff?
Yeah, like so
I'd like that.
Kind of similar to Mass Effect as well, the way certain party members will actually align to you easier than others, like that. Especially if you're trying to give commands if someone is like, if one of your party members doesn't get on with you well, perhaps they don't perform the commands that you give them, or they do their own thing, kind of. Like that kind of thing could be really cool. So then speech and diplomacy and politics becomes really, really important.
See, the other thing is, after playing Final Fantasy 15,
Cool.
me and Eric came up with our own idea of what Final Fantasy 16 should be, and nothing will live up to it because it was the
No.
best thing ever. So
It was so
somebody
good.
get in touch with us
Let's
because
do
we
a whole
got
episode
yeah.
on that then.
It actually.
we should
to-
pitch it. That's
to
Final
give
Fantasy 17.
Kind of a
Yeah.
just to give a little kind of seed of concept.
Yeah.
I think
Give them nothing. Ubisoft will fucking take it. I swear to fuck.
Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
it's just every time like remember like when Brian was on the episode, right? So we used to joke like talking about games like that Brian was tapped, right? Because we would come up with these ideas for games, and then next minute fucking Ubisoft announces them. So we came up with this like it was during the height of like Red Dead Redemption, and it was like just the fucking greatest game ever. And we were saying how it would be so cool if it was this type of game, but like you're pirates.
Right. And then
And
Black
then-
Flag
and-
gets announced.
Black Flag gets fucking announced. It's like, but there's
Yeah,
happened a
listen
few
to it.
fucking times that we come up with ideas for games, and there you go. Ubisoft releases it. So be careful.
Right on the ball.
all right.
Go on,
Then
Eric.
on, then on.
Do you know what? We might do
Well-
an episode on it at some point, will we?
Why not?
Our pitch for Final Fantasy 17.
Yeah.
It was fucking sick. We had a whole party. We had a battle system. We had side missions. It was fucking great. And best villain since Sephiroth. We said it. We said it. Come at us. We said it. I know he doesn't exist. We said it. Anyway, the next game, we'll move on from Final Fantasy. The next game was Spider-Man Miles Morales.
That was pretty.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, it looks
It
really
looked good. Yeah. Okay, Adam, this time we'll come to you first.
That like, can you? What a perfect game to launch with.
Yeah.
You know, like the cool thing about the first Spider-Man is that it's so fucking easy to get into. You know,
I agree. Not everyone does.
really,
I can't get into that game, and I don't know why.
to pick up and play though.
Oh, right.
Like it's not a complicated game. Like, do you ever like
No,
do you ever go away from a game
Yeah,
and come
right,
back
gotcha.
and then you're like, shit, what was the controls?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That game you can just kind of, and then you can kind of say, well, I don't really want to do the main story. Maybe I'll just go around and just see if there's anyone I can help out, kind of thing. You know, it's so easy to just fucking get lost in that game. So I think that's the perfect game for this, for launching with the PS5, as well as the whole like them want to showcase things like the fast moving frame rates of the console, the quick traveling and stuff like that, the speed of the SSD and stuff. Like, this is just such a perfect showcase for that, as well as it looks like it's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
It was a weird
Oh, sorry.
it was a weird kind
Never
of segment
mind.
to show. I thought
What do you mean?
like it doesn't,
Oh, when they broke it up with a bit of talking and then they went back to gameplay, that kind of thing.
no, like with the I think the first one, when they were showing off Spider-Man, it was like a whole segment of you chasing Electro, and then the Sinister Six, essentially it ends with them.
Right.
So
yes,
you're
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like, oh my god, wow. So and it gets you hyped for what the story could be, whereas
Yeah.
this was just like, I don't know, like random villain 2.0. I'm sure they're from the comics, but I've never heard of them. So
Tinkerer.
yeah, so it's,
I'll tell you all about it.
I just thought it could have been a little bit more, I don't know, set up for something. But it was cool to get the whole Spider-Man Homecoming sequence trying to hold the bridge together.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
sick. That was really cool. What were your thoughts, Eric?
I mean, I'll get this one, and hopefully I can get into it. That's for sure. Because I do want to actually get into the Marvel Spider-Man game, but for some reason, the start of it just doesn't click with me at all. I just hate the start of the game. But I don't hate it. I don't know, there's something messy about the structure of it. So hopefully with this one, and considering it's a launch title PS5, I will get it just so I can test out the capabilities of the PS5, but though, so I can also try getting the Spider-Man. Maybe by playing this one, it'll make me have an
Like, you want to go back to
appreciation.
the other one?
Yeah, no, I go, yeah, I'll go to the other one.
Supposedly, there's like, because this is going to be cheap enough, because I imagine it's going to be a small enough game. But I think like there's going to be like a deluxe edition that's just that little bit extra. But as far as I think it comes with a remastered version of the first one as well.
Oh wow!
If that is the case, I'll probably get that one just so then I'll have both of them for
I'm
PS5.
not 100% sure on that now. I just kind of
Well, if that's
saw it
true,
through
that's
Twitter
a
somewhere.
pretty good
Oh,
package.
That's it, Adam. It's written down on. You said it.
Yeah.
It's
Adam
Ariel.
McGuire said.
There we go. Yeah.
Ariel.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. Like, I thought the graphics looked good. I actually love that it's a Christmas setting. I kind of thought that the Christmas lights and the snow and everything is gonna, like, those colors are gonna contrast really well with a black Spider-Man suit. Just that vibe, like, and just the whole thing of, like, you know, Miles' mother is in it, and there's gonna be an important story about family, I think, as well. She's involved in some political rally or something, so she's obviously integral to the story in this game, and so something bad's gonna happen. It's Christmas, and it's a Spider-Man story, and great power, great responsibility, all that stuff. You know, you learn life the hard way, kind of a thing. I think it's gonna be a good story, and I thought that segment on the bridge, especially when he jumped through the bus and caught the person and then swung and dropped the boat and swung back around, I was like, that looks fun. That looks really fucking fun. Most of the gameplay looks pretty much the same, except now you can do electricity moves and turn invisible. So I was like, that looks like it's going to be cool. And I'd say the stealth segments of the game are going to be pretty cool when you go invisible. I was very surprised when they said the Tinker was going to be the villain. I was more surprised to see it was a woman, or at least it seems to be a woman, and a young woman at that. The Tinker is usually a very old man who...
He's the guy from Homecoming, isn't he?
He is in that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have him in that as the Vulture's assistant. But what he does in the comics and in any of the cartoons and media is he like creates suits and weapons for supervillains. Which is why they call him the Tinkerer. So this is obviously a very different take on the character, unless there's a newer version. You know, like you always get like the daughters of or the sons of that take on the mantle as well, or something like that. Like it could be a totally like a Miles Morales version of that character. I do think there's going like Mr. Negative was shown as the main villain to Spider-Man 1 and he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they kept it. I was so fucking, that was amazing how they kept that a secret. Like, and he's in the game very early on, but he's in none of the trailers, none of the promotional stuff. And then you see him and you go, holy shit, Dr. Octopus is in this. Well, now I'm happy.
Yeah.
When I went into the first one, I was like, yeah, I'm interested in the Mr. Negative thing, but I don't know. I just want one of the really big villains in a Spider-Man game. So when I saw him, I was really happy. I think the Tinker is going to be kind of the Mr. Negative of this game, and I think there will be another villain. Whether that's maybe like the Prowler or something, because he's supposed to be like Miles' uncle, you know, or something like that.
Yeah,
like they all had that
actually
stuff. It kind of reminded me of him. Some of that stuff kind of annoyed me. The weird purple whips and purple swords. I'm not into that kind of weird shit, but I get it. It's really just gameplay mechanics and enemy types. So it looks good. I'm going to get it. Like, of the launch titles that are there, that's the one I want to get with the PS5 for sure. Spoiler alert, I want to get the PS5. The next game they showed. This one, I don't know how we're going to feel about it. This one has been rumored for years. Fucking years. And every year there was a new showcase. My girlfriend had asked me, was there anything on that new Harry Potter game? Because I did tell her that one was coming. Right? Now, I got a few things from this. But anyway, what did we think of Hogwarts Legacy?
I mean, at first I was a bit like, nah, whatever. Okay, Hogwarts. Look at that. Floating garage. Whatever. Then when it went late 1800s, I was like, ooh, okay. All right, this is interesting. Okay. And then when it was just showing all the characters, you had your man talking, it was showing Hogwarts again. I was like, yeah, okay, there's Hogwarts, whatever. Floating stairs and statues moving and paintings saying hi and doing nothing else but that. Okay, whatever. But then when it was actually them flying on the Pegasus things over the vast open world and everything and exploring the tombs, and the more the trailer went on, the more I was like, I want this. This looks for glass.
Does it look way better than Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah, just a tad. Yeah, sure. Yeah. As I was like, I'm going to fucking wizard or witch, depending. I don't know like what way they're doing the
I
characters
think
in
they've
it.
confirmed that you make your own character.
I'm fucking down for that
It's
shit.
it's supposed to be a Harry Potter or Hogwarts RPG. They talked a bit about choices. They kept showing different looking characters
Mm.
as the playable character, so that leads me to believe that what they were showing you was the character will look how you make them, and then they show the sorting hat. So I think really it's going to be a case of they'll probably have it in first person. You walk up to this sorting hat. This is just speculation. Sorting hat goes on. You make your character and choose your house. I'd say, because they could still have the same 4 houses because that's the way Hogwarts has ran for whatever 1,000 years.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's what it is, and I think anyone who's a hardcore Harry Potter fan is going to get exactly what they probably want from a Harry Potter game.
Hopefully.
Do you know, like if this was a Lord of the Rings game and I was able to choose my own race or whatever and make my own character and then explore the world, I would be absolutely dancing. So, Adam, what did you think? I just have a feeling you're gonna be really harsh because
No, I have the exact same reaction as Eric. I was like,
right, okay.
I would absolutely play this. I would really love to see. I can't wait to see more gameplay and see how does it actually play, because this could be like the Avengers a little bit. Like when I first saw the Avengers, I was like, yeah, I want this.
Yeah.
But once you get into the gameplay, it's like it's not actually what I was hoping for. But just by looking at this and again, yeah, once you saw the open world aspects of it, which is weird because I've been criticizing fucking open world games for a while, like, but it's I can't believe that it's taken this long to get a Hogwarts game.
Yeah,
because it's actually perfect for this. Like, you can imagine, you're just strolling down the hallways. Next minute, you come across nearly Headless Nick. I don't know if he's around at that time, but I'm just gonna stick with that character for now.
Yeah,
he tells you a thing, and then you have to go off, and eventually you're in your own kind of like mystery that you're trying to solve. Like, there's so much.
It's like you're in your own Harry Potter book in a sense.
Yeah, there's so much secrets in that one building. Never mind the grounds. Like, you happen to go into the Forbidden Forest to fucking, I don't know, make a deal
I
with a
hadn't
centaur.
thought about that bit, and now I'm kind of shitting myself.
Like, just
Giant
the
spiders and
potential
shit.
for, and as well as, like, this doesn't have to have, it probably will have some sort of deeper, cooler story, but it doesn't need that. It can be as small as, like the Tales in Skyrim, or even in Ghost of Tsushima. Some of the side quests are small, but they have an impact on the whole world that you're in. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. I don't know what the gameplay is going to be like specifically, but as a kind of a lore and exploring standpoint, this has so much potential.
I wonder if they're going to do it where it's spread over all the years in this one game, or are you 12 or 11 for the entire game?
I don't. Maybe they'll skip time, so maybe you'll make your character.
Or maybe it's just a single academic year.
Yeah, it could be, and then that opens them up to sequels.
No, but what I mean is that every student that joins Hogwarts is 11 at first.
Yeah.
But then whenever it showed the characters didn't look 11.
They looked older.
They look older, so that's what
I think they'll do. This is just totally speculation. I think they'll do like a tutorial type part of the game that's in first year, and then it'll skip time to when you're maybe 15 or 16, probably. I thought it opened terribly.
Yeah,
and I thought the narration. Yeah, maybe they did. That narration was awful. I was like, who is your target audience? Because that narration is really bad. When his 1800s had me interested, I was like, that's a good choice, because that, like, you could, like, it doesn't matter if you go further back because they all use wands and magic and stuff, so it doesn't really affect how the universe will feel. But it separates it away from the Fantastic Beasts and the Harry Potter. Like, you won't see any of those characters, so it can really just be its own thing. As soon as I saw that shot when they were on, I think was it a hippogriff or a Pegasus? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, holy shit, why does that look fucking 10 times better than everything they just showed? Did they just up the quality? Like, they just
almost
turned the
looked like,
go,
when you see like a remastered game, they show you the original footage, and then
that's what it was like. Like, at first I was looking at it, I was kind of going, this kind of I don't know, it doesn't look great. And then I saw that and I was like, it looks like they got the fucking impressed dial and turned it up because they were like, it's currently on the setting, not impressed. Yeah, no, I actually thought it looked really good. I'm actually really excited as well for, like, my girlfriend is a hardcore Harry Potter fan. It's like the only franchise that she really loves. Like, she likes other things, but that's the only franchise, like, where I have Batman and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and fucking every franchise, fucking every Final Fantasy 7 and, you know, all these franchises, and I love, like, nearly all equally, and I could go in depth about any of them. Harry Potter is her one, really, and I've wanted this game for her nearly. Because when I heard about it and told her about it, she was excited about it, and she's definitely excited about the idea of making her own character and exploring Hogwarts.
She not a Twilight fan then? No, she didn't like Twilight.
Oh, she got older. But not a teenage girl anymore. Like, you know, I think there's just more longevity in the Harry Potter franchise, to be honest, in that world and in those stories. But yeah, I actually think this is going to be a really good game. I'm shocked to see a 2021 release as well.
Is it?
It said 2021, so it's coming next year.
I was just looking here too. It's like
I
think they said it's Portkey Games. I don't really know what that is. That kind of sounds like
that was set up to make this game.
Portkey is like a Harry Potter reference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a teleporting device. Yeah,
but it's Avalanche that's behind it.
Yeah, who are they?
They're the guys that made. They're the guys that made Mad Max.
Oh right,
and that's actually a decent game. Like it's one that was like under the radar a little bit, but that was actually. I think it's the same group.
Either way, yeah, that Mad Max game was actually.
Look, I do think this game's gonna be good. The other thing that brought a bit of warmth to my heart was that there was a rumor a little while ago that I was really worried about, that apparently WB Games was going to get bought by Xbox.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that? Recently we've been shown that that's not happening, because this is coming to PlayStation. Gotham Knights is coming to PlayStation.
Well, being bought by Xbox doesn't mean that the game.
I thought that. Well, my fear was that they were going to become Xbox exclusives.
Because Microsoft, their kind of game plan a little bit here is to offer systems, but also to have their like more of a game service that can be played anywhere. Like, they own Minecraft, but Minecraft's on everything.
Yeah, that's true.
They own obviously Ori.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't think about it that way.
And Ori is on Switch.
I was just worried about like competitive exclusives, I suppose.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, the next game. So yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, it actually impressed us all, surprised us.
Yeah.
It was kind of a well put together trailer, actually.
I'm surprised.
Hey. The next one they showed was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The last time I played a Call of Duty game probably was the first Black Ops. No, I tell a lie. Modern Warfare 3, which I did not like. The last one I played that I liked was Black Ops. And everyone that I've played since then, and not that I've played them all, so some of them might be great, I haven't been impressed. What did we think of what they showed there?
It's Call of Duty, isn't it?
I was really hoping for. Do you remember when some E3s ago, it was an Xbox 360 showcase, and it was the first clip of Modern Warfare 2, and they were on the side of the snow.
Right.
And they're kind of infiltrating, and they're doing the thing. I was kind of, at the beginning of this, I was like, this kind of has that kind of setup, like you're infiltrating somewhere, you're going to take out this guy. I was really hoping that this was kind of like a return to form to that type of Call of Duty. And then you just started doing just stupid shit. Like, the stuff, like, he's like punching people. He puts a grenade, like he pretty much killed someone, but he still puts a grenade on him and unpins it and then kicks him. And it's such a, like, what?
I thought he unpinned the grenade that the guy already had on him.
Did he?
That's what I thought.
I thought he put it on him, but
I got huge fucking Uncharted vibes off it, but in first person. Especially that
just means they looked at Far Cry and went, people like that, let's do that. But that's
see, the thing
not,
is, like,
that's not really good for Call of Duty.
It's kind of hard to say. Like, I haven't played a Call of Duty for a long time, but what got me into Call of Duty was that it was almost mil sim with a Hollywood presentation. So a little bit like, let's say, Black Hawk Down, for example, right?
I don't like anything you just said. No, just... Mil sim I don't like that. I'm only joking.
But it was, wasn't it? It was like Black Hawk Down. It's
The
like
first
this is
one definitely
this
was.
is
The
so
second one-
obviously a Hollywood style of like military's not like this. We fucking know
No,
the
of course
military's not
not.
like
No,
this.
yeah, it's fantastical.
But it does have a kind of a grounded kind of take to it. It is fairly real, and that's what Call of Duty kind of was.
Right.
And then for some reason, I don't know where they went, but this kind of John Wick approach, I fucking love John Wick. I just don't want it in my fucking Call of Duty game. That's
You know
kind
what?
of how I felt with it.
I was really impressed. I thought it was
There
cool.
you go.
I saw him put the gun to the guy's head and blow it up. I was like,
We
yeah,
finally
fuck yeah.
have
I
a
saw
difference of opinion here.
Tom turn a guy around and use him as a hostage to shoot other people. I was like, fuck yeah. And then the bit when he seamlessly put the little drone on the ground and then it turned into, you're controlling the drone and you're like weaving around as Jeeps are going around and then you get under the plane and then it goes back to the people in the Jeep and the plane blows up. And I was like, this looks fucking really exciting and cinematic. And hey, that's all I really care about in these kind of games. Like I loved Modern Warfare 2 and that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. But I loved it, remember, no Russian.
Are you going to get it?
I might get it. I'm gonna wait and see. I did think it was cool that they had an alpha out for people to play, which at this point people will have played. Yeah. They said they were announcing an alpha, for PS4 players to go on and actually play the multiplayer. I'm not really into the multiplayer, so I wouldn't care too much about it. But it does mean that people will be talking about how the gameplay performs and stuff. So we'll get to hear some thoughts on what it's like so far. But yeah, I thought it looked cool. Not like it sold me the console, no. But it's kind of like if this was the worst game that we've seen so far, I mean they're all looking really good. So it's just a matter of Anyway, the next one they showed, which we got to talk about before because they showed it at the last showcase as well, but they just showed a couple of other bits of it, or maybe just reminded us this come Resident Evil Village. Are you any less excited for this game?
That was a very unnecessary clip. I don't think they needed to show it.
I don't think they needed to show it.
No.
But I did take the weird Tim Burton animation thing. Or it was kind of like in, speaking of Harry Potter, actually, from
Yeah, it was like the
Deathly Hallows, they
Deathly
tell the
Hallows
story
stuff, yeah.
of the three brothers. It was very
it's like the best part of that film.
Yeah. No, it was cool though.
I really liked that, and I'm not less excited for the game because fucking looks great.
Is it a PlayStation exclusive? I always thought Resi was like ever since 5 was on both. Why is it being shown at all the PlayStation events?
Oh, I'm sure they're just in bed with Sony for promotional sake. I would be shocked if that isn't on Xbox.
I would be shocked as well. But were the two remakes? They weren't exclusive. No, they weren't.
No.
There hasn't been an exclusive Resi
Since
4.
No,
4
that wasn't exclusive. Since
I think Resi
since
Zero,
PS1 era.
Resident Evil 0, I think was exclusive.
Yeah, that was from the last one.
For anyone who's not a Resident Evil fan, Resident Evil 0 is an actual game. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Adam. It's not Adam going. There's
since
never
Resident
been.
Evil non-existent. Since Resident Evil never happened, that's the last time that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not less excited for. I actually hope, based on like that little story thing they did, that there is a supernatural element to this one. I don't think there will be, but I
There's
actually think
always going to be.
I know,
It's
there's
a
gonna be some
biohazard
scientific
game, so it's always going to be.
But it would be kind of cool.
I would.
If it just went balls to the wall.
I would love to know what kind of bioweapon they have here to explain werewolves. Because like when you see the Ganados in Resident Evil 4, you're like, what the kind of fucking bioweapon is this? And it's like, it's a parasite. Oh, okay. So I'd love to know what's turning people into werewolves.
Speaking of,
It could be literally anything. Sure, they kind of had the furry fucking. They've had furry enemies before, haven't they?
Furries.
There was furries that would kill you.
Fucking furries, man. Biohazard. It's very clear though, isn't it, that this game is literally like, let's take 7 and 4 and kind of put it in a blender.
I don't know. Like I'm kind
In a good way.
Well, yeah, but I know that what you're saying about the 4. Like I think 7 kind of looked like 4 anyway. The kind of wooden house and
Oh, I
We're
just
gonna-
mean like it's got to play like 7, and it's obviously a continuation of 7's character.
Yeah.
But they're really going for this kind of cult and village, and they even have a castle. Like,
I think this is
And-
them going
Some
kind of
people-
Transylvania. There's vampires and werewolves, kind of a vibe with this.
Yeah,
Maybe,
people
yeah.
comparing it to even like Outlast as well and stuff like that. So
but they
I think
also
they're
have
just.
a merchant.
There's
Yeah,
always a
actually,
merchant.
I forgot about the merchant.
To be honest, because that was at the very end of it, and it was supposed to be the moment that you go, because they did a reveal, and then they have that little thing. That did nothing for me. Honestly, I would have much preferred. I know it wouldn't have made sense in universe, but if they had just shown a blue flame and the guy with the hood and saying "Welcome, stranger," I would have been like,
incredible.
"Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Like, just it's only a game mechanic. It doesn't really have to make I feel like the merchant doesn't have to make sense, And actually, the more mystery that's around him as to how is he here, the better, because
Yeah.
everyone theorized about that. That would have made it for me if at the end of that trailer they
He
had
has his
that.
own backstory and shit.
Fuck yeah, man! That would have made. But yeah, the guy who was there, it's just the way he spoke, because they only half showed him as well, like as if you're supposed to recognize him or something.
Yeah.
He's a merchant.
I know, but I felt like because for a second I was looking at him going, is he supposed to be someone? And then I realized no, he's not. It's just that he's a merchant. Okay,
No, he's the merchant, man.
he's not the same one.
Hey, he's gotta be the same guy, man. If he's not the same guy,
It's a
I'm
different
not buying.
voice.
Yeah, well, the
No,
voice
the
actor...
merchant is in Destiny 2 now, isn't he? He's gone intergalactic.
Oh yeah, he has weird he has Cthulhu coming from his face, doesn't he?
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Resident Evil Village. We're not less excited. Happy to give it a go and pick it up.
Oh, I'm definitely going to install it and maybe try and play it. Definitely.
I'm gonna play about an hour of that game and go. That was the best
I
thing
will
ever.
I will tell you how it goes.
Yeah, you let us know if it's any good. Eric will actually play
It's
it.
like, Eric, what happens around this corner?
I'm curious to hear what you think about
Yeah,
this.
no, I'll just lie to you just to
The
watch you shit yourself.
The next one was shown at the last one as well, the last showcase, but we didn't talk about it. And actually, I'm kind of curious to see what you think about it, and it might be very brief, but Deathloop.
Did we not talk about it?
We didn't.
I think I mentioned that I liked
Skimmed over
the. Like, I would love if this was a movie.
Right, yeah, it's
You know
a
what
cool
I mean?
concept.
Like, if it was like. It almost has that Quentin Tarantino. Maybe even. What's his name? From the guy who did Sin City.
Rodriguez?
Rodriguez, yeah. It's got that kind of vibe to it. But, like, with the time fuck upness of, like, Christopher Nolan.
It would have been a great one for our time travel episode.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the concept of it, I'm like, this would be such a cool film. But as a game, I think it's quite limited to where it can go. I think it's what we
There's
see there is all that
definitely-
it is. I think
There's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be a trailer, like a trophy for it. That's like get through the whole game without dying.
Yeah, probably. Eric,
Absolutely.
do you have anything else you wanted to add to that game?
It kind of reminded me of something like BioShock or We Happy Few, or at least this whoever's making it trying to do that kind of game. First trailer didn't really interest me. I wasn't really blown away by it. I think, like you, Adam, if it was a movie, I probably would be a bit more interested in it. But it being a game, no, a first-person game. Like when I see a game as first-person, I usually am kind of thrown off it straight away. I'm not the biggest fan of first-person games.
Yeah.
So the minute something's first-person, I always feel like, well, it's now immediately limited in what it can do and what the gameplay can offer me by being first-person.
All right. I'll tell you how I felt about it.
nah.
I was like, I look forward to playing this when it's a PS Plus free download.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be mean, actually, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. It reminded me of one of those games that will end up a PS Plus download that you end up getting when you're paying your subscription. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know if other people feel this way, but there's the movie out at the moment, The New Mutants, right? I remember seeing the trailers for that fucking years ago when it was first supposed to be coming out. And I was like, oh, cool, it looks a bit different. It's nice to see a superhero movie that doesn't look like the other superhero movies. It has its own identity. Yeah, I'd be interested in watching it. And now it's out in cinemas, and I was like, will I go, or am I just going for the sake of going to the cinema? And then I went, I'll watch it when it's on Netflix. Now, I have no idea if it's coming to Netflix, but it looks like a movie that would make it onto Netflix. And that's what I mean by, that's how I feel about Deathloop.
That's
think it's a
not going to
game
come to Netflix.
Oh no,
They will go to the Disney Channel, so you will have it there.
How could I go to Disney? Oh, I know it's like owned by
The
Fox.
thing is with the Deathloop is like
Disney owns it.
there is definitely obviously there's the actually I don't even know if there is a time aspect to it
I
really
think
other
it's
than just
you die and you come
you
back.
die and you come back, right? That game exists. It's called Hotline Miami.
That's
So
right.
this
I'm
is-
terrible at it.
This is just a like first person, maybe higher fidelity version of that, but the game already exists. So that's why I was saying, like, apart from just the premise, the style, and the presentation of it, the game isn't interesting.
No.
It looks like something that already exists.
At the moment, it's a miss for me. And speaking of games that already exist, the next one they showed was Devil May Cry 5.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a good segue. The special edition, which is going to be available at launch on PS5 for digital download, or so they said. You get to play as Virgil in it. I don't know what do you say? I mean, none of us went and got Devil May Cry 5, so
I played the demo. It's not really for me, so that's
I watched all the cinematics to it.
okay. I was kind of like, if I end up with the PS5 and I feel like there's nothing else to play, and then it's cheap or something, maybe I'll pick it up. I enjoy Devil May Cry games, but I felt no need to get Devil May Cry 5. I wasn't very impressed by the demo. So marking a special edition doesn't really entice me much more.
it did do well though. I mean, it was greatly received, so
I know,
think,
no, people love it. See, the thing is, it has the identity though as well. Like, it has all the look. The gameplay of Devil May Cry games is fun.
Yeah.
Across the board, I think they're all fun to play. It's whether you can get behind the fucking characters and the story, and people who are Devil May Cry fans love that stuff that I don't like about Devil May Cry. So that's why it did well, because it gave them exactly what they were looking for. I'm sure it's fun to play. If I was playing it, I probably would enjoy it. Now, the demo, I didn't enjoy it. I don't think it was a good demo, but I bet you there's parts of the game that I would enjoy playing. I just don't really care for.
I think it delves also a little bit more into Dante and Virgil's childhood life. I think as well, for like a brief couple of seconds, like and then they won. Like Dante at moments gets mature, and that's nice to see. But then I don't know, their conflict feels very forced as well. It feels very just like, oh, they're brothers, so they gotta fight. It's like, why though? Cause all right,
yeah,
they're fighting apparently.
I don't know. I mean, I said it before, and I know I'm in the minority. I just thought Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry handled their relationship really well, and handled those characters really well. But okay, the next game they showed, Oddworld Soulstorm. Is this a game you think you'd get?
No, I again, that's more of a if it comes to PS Plus, I
PlayStation
try
Plus,
it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if it was a PS Plus, I would definitely give it a go.
I mean, like
If I'm-
Abe's
I-
Odyssey
yeah.
was really fun, but fuck me, that was some hard games. So Soulstorms like that, I'd probably play about an hour of it and then get really stuck.
I didn't even realize there was a franchise. I feel out of the loop on this one. I mean, Abe's Odyssey is one of the first games I ever physically played. Not one of the first games I experienced. Like my memory of first games I ever played are mainly racing games like Crash Team Racing and Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, and then Abe's Odyssey. And I never got too far in Abe's Odyssey, but I just remember all the, hello,
farts
follow
and
me,
stuff.
okay, and that kind of like the first part of the game, I suppose, the kind of intro. I remember playing that a lot and not really understanding what I'm supposed to do, but just finding what they're saying and what they're doing funny, and oi, 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 that kind of stuff. It's cool that I just didn't realize there was a franchise after that.
Well, it's not like
it's still going.
yeah, no, there is a franchise. It's not like as if every year there's a new Abe's Odyssey or Oddworld game. It's really what they're called. On PS1, I believe it was Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. Those were the two that were out on that. PS2, I can't really remember. I know on Xbox, Stranger's Wrath was one that people really liked. It was a first-person game based in Oddworld. And then I think there may be a few extra after that, but it's like when Abe's Odyssey for PS4 was released or announced, that was kind of like a return to form. Like, it has been a while since an Oddworld game.
Right, yeah.
So that was like, this is like the next one then.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose if it's a PS Plus game, we'll probably give it a go.
I'll definitely play it then.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't turn any kind of game down. I tried actually Street Fighter 5 was a PS Plus game there recently. I downloaded it to give it a go. Oh fuck me! It's like, how would you like to pay for everything? It's microtransactions all over the fucking place. It's a disgusting looking game.
It is brutal.
And as well, there was like modes where it was like Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2. I was like, are those old games built into this? Because I remember playing Street Fighter 2 on the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, and I remember seeing those characters and then watching the movie, and I was able to recognize most of them. So I was like, "Oh, fuck, cool." So I was like, "Is that all?" Oh, fuck off! And I went into it. No, it's not. They just have the roster from those old games, but you have to pay for a lot of the characters you would want to play as. And I was like, "This isn't a free game. This is a fucking demo."
And people paid like 60, 70 quid for that.
That's shocking. Someone else brought up that they think games should actually be at different prices upon launch. I agree. I don't think every game should be at the
there's definitely should be a quality.
There should,
control.
yeah. Like if you get a game that's only 5 hours long, it should not be the same price as a game that's 30 hours long.
No.
That's just called fucking maths. Anyway.
Well, it depends, isn't it? Like, 'cause
depends on what's in that.
Well, that 5-hour game may have taken longer to make. So are you paying for the amount of work that's gone in, or are you paying for what you get out of it?
I hear what you're saying. I just think like there's some games that are just not to the same quality or standard as some others. Yeah. And I know some of that could be down to opinion. But you could just get down to the technical part of it too, where you go, that game is just not up to scratch with that game. You know what I mean? And there's some of them that I just don't think it's fair that some of them get released at the same price. And you're like, this really, like, I should wait till this is on sale for 20 quid someday.
Yeah, well, I think microtransactions are they're
horrendous.
They're not great. They open up all kinds of issues, like is it gambling and all that kind of stuff. So, hopefully we'll see less of that in next gen. That's one thing I like about the PlayStation Studios exclusives, right? Very few of them go down that road.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Eric?
I thought it was really funny as well when it got to a point where microtransactions got so out of hand. There was like a whole like investigation thing, and the companies did it, and then games afterwards had to go, you don't need microtransactions. Like that's now a selling point that there's no microtransactions.
It's weird that that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game that they showed, and we won't have much to say about it because it was very quick and brief. Anyway, it was only kind of a reveal. And I've never played any of these games, so I'm curious as to whether any of you have. It was the new Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah.
Security Breach. Have any of us ever played a Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, I'm familiar with it though, and they are supposed to be like it. The game itself is not scary. It's just the fact that it catches you off guard, and it's the music and it's the suddenness of it is what makes you jump.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's very jump scary.
Yeah. Kind of like if you imagine, did you ever play or at least see the Slender Man game?
Oh right, yeah.
Right, that's not like if you looked at that, it's like the graphics are so bad, but it's the
if you play it yourself with headphones on,
and it's the music, it's the fucking it's the atmosphere, it's all that, so it gets you. So I think it wouldn't be one I would play, but I can imagine for streamers and stuff like that game is going to be so funny.
Yeah, like it's definitely going to have its audience as well. Like,
yeah.
I think it's definitely exciting for people who probably have followed that series. I don't know much about it. I think the next one that they showed is probably one that I would have thought would impress Eric quite a lot, but I could be wrong. It's a launch title as well. I was really surprised to hear it's a launch title, and that's Demon Souls, the remake. See Eric's face. Are you not into those games? I thought you're into the Souls games.
I mean, I could like it.
It looks good.
Depends on. Oh, it looks amazing. The graphics are fucking incredible.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Depends on how hard it is. Yeah. I don't actually really like the games on the basis of their difficulty, which is why I really enjoy Dark Souls 3, because it wasn't that hard.
Okay,
but like right. Bloodborne I played and I eventually cleared, then I tried to play it again, and it just got like the difficulty just skyrocketed, and I was like, fuck this is shit. And I was playing Sekiro, and I got stuck on that and went, fuck this is shit. So if the game is really hard, I'm not actually going to like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been unfortunately, like because I think the designs of their monsters and creatures are amazing in those games.
And I think on the basis of the idea, it's a new style of horror. They're definitely horror games.
Yeah, they
Bloodborne,
are, yeah.
Dark Souls, and Demon Souls. Not much Sekiro. Sekiro isn't really a horror game. But so I find them being horror games kind of justifies their difficulty as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I could like it, especially because their designs are usually good and the medieval setting and their kind of sense of world building and everything.
Well, I thought as well the gameplay that they showed. I thought the combat animations looked really good.
Yeah,
Now,
no,
that guy who was playing it is obviously very good at it, and if that was
Yeah.
me,
That's what I was saying when I was
and I'd
watching.
be
It's like,
just dying
Jesus, this
the whole
guy's
fucking
good.
time. Yeah.
like I played a bit of Demon Souls before. I think it was on PS2 or something like that, was it? Or early PS3 game?
PS3.
Yeah, it was early
Yeah,
PS3.
yeah, okay. Anyway, I was playing at a friend's house one time, and I mastered the art of grinding in that game. I'd like kill an enemy, run back to safe, spend some skill points, go back, kill the same enemy, go. I like mastered that art.
Yeah.
All the lads got annoyed at me.
I just don't
So-
know if I'd have the patience for that.
I don't know if I'd pay. Did you say it's a launch title?
It's a launch title. It has been
So-
confirmed it is a launch title. So like, I don't know if that means that any of those games are coming with the PS5. Like you get a choice to take. Sometimes that happens, but they have not confirmed that yet. Because I was actually in
wouldn't say so.
GameStop today, and I asked that question, and they said we don't know yet. We won't know till a bit closer to the time.
I'll probably wait till it's a bit cheaper, maybe, or maybe if it becomes a PlayStation Plus game, then get it and try it. Like I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
spell the full fucking £80 or something now. I think the games are going to be 70 or 80 euro.
70, I imagine.
Yeah, I thought there was 70. I thought they were kind of saying the same.
Either way, I probably wouldn't pay that amount for the game on the basis of I don't know if I would actually enjoy it or not.
That's one
depending
thing
on
I thought was
what
really
I think.
impressive. Like, because so far as we were talking, there hasn't been many games that we jumped on. Like that were like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get that. And I say most of the games were probably like, yeah, not really for me. But for someone else, that's the game that they're going to get.
Oh,
And
I
think-
thought the showcase was very diverse.
Yeah, like there's
You know, yeah.
you're gonna find something in here that's like really you're gonna gravitate towards. Launching with Demon Souls is such a fucking good idea.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
it's a very
Yeah, 'cause
Bloodborne
that's-
sold PS4s.
no, like there's no doubt it's a popular series and a remake of that game, and it looked good. Like I don't play those games, so and there's no kind of bias here. It looked good. It looked really good. That's kind of all I have to say about it. Like the lighting and everything looked sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that there's people who that's the one they're going to pick up, and then Spider-Man suits another audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think there's another one. I think Sackboy's Adventure could be another launch title, which is going to suit young kids and stuff. You know, so there's kind of if you
And
could look-
every
if you look at it
console
age-wise,
every console comes with Astro's Playroom,
yes, yeah, every console comes with that.
which is gonna be which is a good idea because that's one that's kind of it's more of a tech demo, but it's based off of Astrobot, the VR game, which is supposed to be actually
Yeah.
a pretty good game. I've never
Yeah.
played it myself, but it's supposed to be
No, it
pretty good.
sounds good. Like I definitely look. If it's on it, you might as well give it a go as well. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You know, if it's on the system. I don't know if any of us have anything to say about Fortnite. There was a Fortnite trailer to say Fortnite's coming. At this point, that's like saying Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming. You know, like I'm not like saying anything bad about Grand Theft Auto 5, but it's just it's kind of like, yeah, of course Fortnite's coming over to the PS5. Like
Yeah.
at this point, it's one of the most popular games in the world. Like, you know what I mean? It's
I wonder if they'll
It's
have
not me, but-
actually. Speaking of games constantly getting renewed for each console, I wonder if they'll bring Resident Evil 4 onto PS5.
That would be such a fucking.
that would be hilarious. And Skyrim.
Yeah,
Well, I would love to see them. Yeah, Skyrim. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so.
What I
fucking
would love
funny.
to see them do is like when they eventually come around to doing Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah.
Is to start it off as like showing
Oh,
the original
pretend that it's-
and, and pretend it's that
so good.
and then flip the switch and then it shows the graphics, the actual graphics. Like that'd be so funny.
Capcom, if you're listening, you need to do exactly what Adam just said. That is the fucking best way you could announce that. That is so
And
good.
Bethesda, if you're listening, don't release Skyrim for PS5. Just release a new
No,
fucking
yeah.
game.
It's okay.
Just
we
give
have,
us
we have Skyrim.
Starfleet, Star something.
Yeah, I think that's the next one they're working on.
Yeah, but they were saying that like
Yeah,
that's like both of those games are still years away or something. Like they're still really far away. It's like
Yep.
what? are you doing?
But speaking of games getting, re-released, the next thing they showed was the PlayStation Plus collection.
That's such a good idea.
Which you spoke about briefly earlier.
Yes.
Eric. Anything else you want to add to that, or you want to elaborate further on it?
Was there anything on it that actually you don't have yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the Last of Us Remastered. I actually looked at my collection. I don't have that.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
I think that was the
don't
only game they showed that I was like, I don't have that.
I don't have Persona 5, which is a game that people say is amazing, and I'm too worried to buy it and try it. So if it's there and I can download it,
it's supposed to be incredible.
I would give it a go. People say it's incredible. Days Gone is a game that people have said is amazing. I've never thought I should buy it, but if it's there, I will download it and play it. And Bloodborne is one that, again, I think it looks too hard for me to actually buy and enjoy. But if it's there, I might as well download it and try it. So there was a few games.
Yeah, there's a few there that I don't have as well. So I think I think it'd be odd for someone to have every single one of these. Like I think I'm sure there's definitely someone who has every single one of these games, but I think you're gonna find something. And could you imagine like this is your first PlayStation?
Wow, yeah, like.
Yeah,
I mean,
what a collection.
You're getting God of War and Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Remastered, and like if you've never played these games, you have just been given some of the best games ever fucking made. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's it. Even though I have most of those games, saw that trailer and got hyped and was like, I'm gonna have PlayStation Plus anyway. I subscribe to it anyway every year. So as soon as I have the PlayStation 5, if I don't have a PS5 game yet and I just want to play around with my new controller and my new console, I could just play one of those games on it.
Yeah, and that really does solve that problem you always get with the new console, where you have to wait like 3 years for something to play, essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's when this generation launched, like both the Xbox and PS4, like the first few years were pretty damn stale.
That's actually why, and that has dawned on me as well. And it'll come up again with one of the other games that's coming. But I am so surprised at some of the games that have been announced for next year. Like, I do not remember a kind of, like, I know they always come out in the holiday year, but I always kind of call the next year the sort of launch year, because that's the year of games that follow. I have never experienced, I don't think, a launch year as good, or I cannot remember a launch year where there was that many games I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
2021 looks fucking crazy. And 2020 was really good. And I was like, yeah, it's going to take games before we have... Yeah, no, for games, yeah, for fucking nothing else. But it's going to take... I was like, it's going to take a few years before we get any kind of a year like that. And 2021 looks... I'm really excited. I can't wait. Like, you got Resident Evil and Horizon and fucking Gotham Knights for me, and another one that I'll talk about shortly. If they are genuinely releasing in 2021, it's a jam-packed year, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy with this collection as well. I think it's a fucking great idea. I suppose the next thing then was the pricing and the launch date, which was the main thing everyone was really here for.
Yeah. And, I love the way after he said it, he just said, and now you know.
Yeah. So, yeah.
As if, like, now you can leave us alone.
Yeah, stop asking us. It was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the prices?
Oh, very good. Actually, I really like.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. They're what I said they were going to be, pretty much.
Yeah, you were bang on. I actually did think it was going to be not the digital one. I think the digital one is very fair, and I kind of didn't think it would be much more than that. But I actually thought the disc drive one was going to be more. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm really happy. Like, I think it's a very fair price. I haven't seen anyone say that's ridiculous. That's too expensive. I haven't seen anyone say that.
That's ridiculous. That's too low a price. That price should be higher. What are they doing? Undercharging us for this console.
Yeah, you're undercutting that. Yeah, I thought the two prices were really fair. Obviously, now the most affordable new console coming is the Xbox Series S, which I also think is very fair. I think the pricing of the Xbox consoles was also really good. I think now there's 4 systems coming out that are going to suit different people with different needs and different wants. And I'm also just thinking about like families who have had a particularly tough economic year, and their kids might just want like a new console. And I'm talking about young kids who might not be like serious into gaming, but just want to play a few fun games. Like the Xbox Series S is a really good console to buy. Like,
Yeah, that was the whatever, I can't remember what they're calling it now. I don't know if it's changed names, but essentially the Game Pass thing, like they're pretty much sorted.
yeah, it's fair. Like, it's super fair. I'm a bit worried about where games are going to go in the future.
Me too.
This digital thing I'm not into, and they're clearly pushing that. Like, they're even going to make less discs, so that like it's like, yeah, we could
It's
pre-order
like
it
a
for you, but we don't know
shortage
when
on
it'll
them.
come. But if you buy it on digitally, you'll get it straight away, and then show that digital sales are doing better than physical sales, and then go, well, there's no point in physical sales anymore, and just go digital.
Yeah.
Like that's the future.
Like I have a bunch of digital games, and I find
I
that
do as well.
it's there are benefits to having it digitally. For example, not having to get off the couch just to put it in. It's a huge
just
benefit
stick
on my
it on.
life. But
That busy schedule.
but I think I think people are just opening their arms up to the digital space of games just a little too much. I don't think people realize the hardship it could cause them later. Because people are already complaining about the price of games.
Yeah.
Now I think games, I have no problem with the pricing of them, because I'm of the mindset you don't have to play every game. You have no, it's not a fucking human right that you need every game that comes out. If you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. These things cost a lot of money. And it's because we're not paying enough is why we're getting things like microtransactions.
Right.
So that's kind of my mindset. But the thing is, I am well aware that we can't afford all the time. You can go in and buy a second-hand game for cheaper. Or you try one spot and it's one price, and you try another spot and it's like 10 quid cheaper. Like, it makes all the difference. Like, you can shop around.
Or you give a game to a friend for a loan, and
he just
they
borrows
loan you another game, and you just go, yeah, I was curious about the game, but I didn't think I'd buy it. It's like, yeah, here, give it a go. That'll all go away.
The problem,
I don't like the digital thing.
Yeah, the problem with the digital age, and I know people like saying about Steam, but Steam's a little different because it is a competitive platform. The PC, there's multiple places you can buy games on PC, so Steam needs to be competitive. On PlayStation and Xbox, there's one store. Sony controls the PlayStation 1, Microsoft controls the Xbox One. They don't have to compete with anyone, and they can charge whatever they want. I don't think people realize how actually unconsumer friendly the digital age actually is in that regard. Like, Apple's actually in trouble with a similar problem with that.
Right.
There's, they're being brought to court and everything
Fuck.
over the fact that they're the only store that you can buy apps from. That there's no competition.
Oh, right. Shit, right.
And if you get rid of physical stores, which is not only going to get rid of, like, one of the things that I love is the launch day and queuing up and getting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's a kind of a culture around physical games. There's the
and
collector's
just even
edition.
fucking having a shelf with all your fucking games on it that you can look at and go, these are mementos from all my experiences of gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, I think people just, it's okay to embrace, because like I said, I have both physical and digital. In fact, I have way more digital games than I have physical. But I'd say just be cautious about just embracing fully digital, because I think you're setting yourself up for trouble.
Yeah. Just on that, Eric, is that something that I thought we were going to go into, actually, but I suppose the conversation has just leaned its way there. How do you feel about the whole digital thing, or do you think it's a good idea? Or
well, of course, you went to Adam first, so you got all the information needed. So. It has its benefit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there was one time where I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, I want to play, I don't know, God of War or something. That's it. And I went, that means I have to get up, go over there, and grab it, and put it in. I thought to myself, but there's a digital game just right there looking at me. Sure, I'll just play that. So there is that handiness that you can just turn it on and just go
Yeah.
to it and play it.
It becomes like
Um,
Netflix, as opposed to
it
going and getting
becomes-
your DVD. You
yeah.
just pick the game you want to play and put it on.
Although I think it's extremely dangerous going digital, not on the basis of not just on the fact that Sony or Microsoft or whoever can charge whatever they want when it comes to digital,
Yeah.
because usually the digital games at the moment are cheaper by like €10 or something.
Not
like that.
brand new, they're more expensive.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they charge whatever they want. So, but you can always go like, oh, I'll wait till the €20 or the €10 deals or something like that. But during COVID, I think it was, I played Final Fantasy 7, I cleared it, blah, blah, blah. I was kind of more or less done with it. And I got to the point where it was a bit like, I really need a new game. I was like becoming like a gamer junkie almost. Like none of the games I had would satisfy me. So I just started buying a shit ton of games off the store. All the but they were all on deals. So I feel like having that access is quite dangerous. And if you make every game digital, you're just gonna have more.
Well, every
people
game is
spending-
But I
digital
think going
anyway.
forward, every game is digital anyway. Yeah, I think.
No, what I mean is, though, is
I-
that like
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
if you just have disc, it's first of all you have to have lazy gamer shits have to get off the couch and going downtown to buy the game, which is such a chore. And then you have the fact that like you're going in, you're looking around, you're looking for the game, and then you have to buy it, and they're not going to have as much fucking what do you call it, deals and stuff. And then you might have to take out money or use your card. So because of all the different things you have to do to get it physically, you might be thrown off on it because you'd only want to get the game you really want. But when it's digital, you're like, I'll just try it out, sure. I'll just because I think I did buy 2 or 3 games. I played the fucking start of it and then deleted it, and that's like €10 or €15 out the goddamn window that I spent
Right.
for nearly each one of those games.
Yeah, there definitely
Yeah.
needs to be. I think if they're going digital, if that's the age that we're going in, there's definitely going to have to be some sort of trial period, or
Yes.
there is a return policy. I don't know how they're going to do it, but there definitely
No.
needs to be one
Yeah.
because
How the fuck do you do that?
yeah, it is a bit like I know there was the Tony Hawk's game, which was just released
Oh, yeah.
recently. I was thinking about getting it on the store digitally because if you pre-order it, you get the demo to try out. And I was like, that's a bit fucking weird. So I have to spend money on it just to try it to see if I like it. And if I don't like it, I can't return it. So in the end, I was like, fuck it, I'm actually just going to get it physically when it comes out because at least if I don't like it, I can return it. Or I can trade it against something I don't like.
Trade in for CX or something like that.
Yeah. So there is that element of it. It's just like you can't, just dropping 70 quid on something that you don't know if you're going to like it and you can't return it.
I actually like the option of both, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's fair to have both. And it's kind of like I compare it to, in some ways, like there's some movies that I have paid for digitally that I just have on like the kind of Apple TV that I'm like, that's grand. It's just a film that, it was on a low price and I like to have it to watch it, but I don't need it on my shelf. It's not particularly nostalgic or important to me. But then if there's a movie I really like, I want to go pick it up on Blu-ray or DVD back in the day and actually have it physically. Same with music. There's plenty of music. I'll just listen to Spotify. There's albums I'll download from Spotify and listen to that way. But if there's an album or an artist I really appreciate, I'm buying the CD and I'm getting the CD. And it's the same with video games. If there's a game where I'm like, yeah, fuck it, it's a special offer and I'll try it and download it. But if there's a game I really, really want, and there's plenty coming, I want to buy it physically and I want to have it. And not, I probably would never plan on trading it in or selling it or anything. I just want to have it. I want to have a memento. I want to keep it. It's a collection. I think it's going to be really sad one day when there's absolutely no new cases or no new discs.
Yeah. Or there was just
maybe
be
I'm old-fashioned.
limited run kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's still really sad when you open it up and all you have is a disc and a leaflet advertising the season pass.
Oh, I love booklets.
Well, that's so. Yeah, like I miss booklets so much. Like
I
they're
love booklets.
Class.
I suppose the other thing then that was tied around the price of the PlayStation 5, which we're actually really happy with. And that sounds like we're getting real negative actually with the digital thing, but it's just it is just interesting. Like, I'm not worried about it on this generation. I'm worried about the next generation, right? The PS6 is where I think like we might have a digital only version. You know, I don't know. Like we'll see what happens down the line. But at the moment, it's all good. I'm just a bit worried about the future. But the launch date, there's 2 different launch dates.
Yeah.
Me and Adam were talking very briefly about this just before you came on the call, Eric. But do you have any idea as to why that is? Because I can't make sense of it at all. I don't know why that is.
Was that the controversy that you
referred to? No. The controversy is something else, and we'll talk about that next.
Okay, right. No, okay. Because I thought for a second that maybe
the controversy is kind of tied into all of this.
Right. One of the dates is 17th of November, isn't it?
19th. So it's releasing here in Europe and in some other parts of the world, 19th of Europe. And 19th of Europe, 19th of November.
In 1945.
In Europe, they released the PS5. Whereas in the US and Japan and Canada and Mexico and a few other places.
Argentina.
Can't remember. It's releasing on November 12th.
Right.
So there's, like a week in the difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not a huge difference. I just wonder why it's there.
So people can get it. People in Japan and America, you know, the real people. They can get it first.
No, but like, so Xbox is releasing worldwide same date.
What day is that?
November 10th.
Ooh.
PlayStation 5 for a lot of places is releasing 2 days after. But for the rest,
isn't it that? Okay, so before we go, this is probably our nice little segue onto the next little controversy. But isn't it that they're having a bit of trouble at the moment making enough consoles for the amount of pre-orders? So is it that, like, right, we're just going to get it out to Japan and America and Canada and stuff as quickly as possible, as many like consoles we can as quickly as possible? And Adam's shaking his head and like, nope, I know the business. They're definitely not doing that.
I guess that too, but Adam thinks something else. So
this is not unusual. It's actually more unusual that the Xbox is releasing everywhere at the same date.
Yeah, but I just wonder why PlayStation aren't. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I think it's just down to different regions and management, like how they split up the, like they have a Sony of America, they have a Sony of Europe, and they have a Sony of Japan. If you go to all 3 websites, they're generally different. If you go, they all have different marketing campaigns. You know, like the whole, it only does what's the make dot believe or the for the players slogan, for example.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Play has no limits.
Yeah, like if you go to different regions, they actually have a different slogan and stuff like that. So I just think it's just how they're managing. Perhaps Sony Europe is just a little bit behind, trying to get them in. COVID could be impacting it, but like the PS4, I was saying this to Chris before we started, was that that launched first in America, which was unusual. Normally it launches first in Japan.
Yeah.
And
that is really weird.
Which is usual.
Which is usual. But like a week or 2 later, it launches in Europe.
Right.
In like the end of November. And then it launches in Japan in like the end of February the following year.
That
was the
weird.
PS4 launch. So
no one.
This is
it's weird. Okay. I suppose it's only weird now, or people might be going, hey, this is bullshit, it's not fair, because they've seen what Xbox's launch is, that it's going to be worldwide on the same day.
Possibly. As well, I think there's an element of where, and we could see that from the backlash, there is an element of I want it now, therefore I deserve it now. Like,
right.
When the PS4 launched, you know, those like kind of split up dates weren't as bad because our culture in terms of like instant gratification wasn't as ridiculous as it is now. But now it's like, you know, I want to watch something, fucking there it is. You know, if I want to listen to something, there it is. If I want to order something, like there it is. You know, we're fucking
click my heels.
able to buy toilet paper now and just have it delivered to our house. Like it's, I think there's an element of like, well, I was able to get everything else now, so why can't I have this now, kind of a thing. But
Well, let's talk the controversy then. We won't spend too long on it. Uh, Eric, do you know what the controversy is?
I think one of the lads in work it was telling me it was something to do with, unless there's another controversy. He was saying something about the fucking retailers. The retailers who sell are going to be obviously giving the consoles. Like we went to GameStop to pre-order it. That they're not going to have enough. They're not going to be given enough consoles. Like they're given like 10 or 12, depending on the country. Even though there's like 100 for that town or something like that. Or
Okay, so that's kind of like the personal annoyance for people, right? In terms of
right.
when you pre-order it determines like that you might not get at launch date, and that's a whole thing about distribution. That's not actually, it's kind of linked to the controversy, but it's not the controversy. And when I say this, by the way, I am not giving out about retailers. I am just saying what has actually transpired across the world.
Yeah.
So back in July, and I forget the name of who it was. There was someone who worked for Sony. Someone please let me know, because someone will know about this, because this has come up a few times. Back in July.
Jim Ryan?
I think it was.
He's saying a lot of shit, and he's not.
I think it was.
He's kind of bullshitting his way through this whole thing.
I think that name really rings a bell, so I think it was Jim Ryan. I still could be wrong.
He's the head of PlayStation. I've never really been a fan of him, but sure, look.
Yeah, but in the interview, if it was Jim Ryan or whoever it was, said that there's no need to go out and rush and pre-order. We will let you know when pre-order is available. There will be a date. Don't worry. There's going to be a plan in place. There's going to be a schedule. Like, there's no need to panic. We're going to do this properly. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. So PS5 launch event showcase. And they said that the pre-orders start tomorrow. So from 9 o'clock tomorrow, you could start pre-ordering. Plenty of people went, okay, grand, cool. I'm going to get up early in the morning and I'm going to pre-order it. People got up the next day, tried to pre-order it. Sold out everywhere. You cannot pre-order it because retailers were already taking pre-orders, and people they'd maxed out all their sales, and people could not pre-order it. And that's what the controversy is over. People are making videos. They're pissed. Really, really annoyed that they were kind of told don't go out and pre-order it, and then because they didn't go out and pre-order it, now they can't.
Yeah, because there's a guy I know, the guy I worked with. He was told me about the retail thingy. Yeah, he's first on the list in Wexford because he pre-ordered it in March.
Yeah. Someone else said that they know someone who's number one on the list, so it must be this guy you work with.
Yeah, he's number one on the list. Yeah.
Well,
he pre-ordered it in March, and I was kind of like, "What the fuck are you doing pre-order in March? They haven't even fucking announced it yet."
So there you go.
Like,
oh well, he did right, didn't he? He's gonna be laughing at all of us when we don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a while. I think it could be a while before I get it.
Like when I went in to pre-order it, your man Sonny, I pre-ordered off Sonny, and yeah, and
Sonny.
Just shout out to that guy. And he pretty much says, like, look, man, you're not going to get it at launch. You'll probably get it around, like, we'll probably give it to you, like, New Year's or something around then. I was like, that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm well aware. I think I was well aware from the beginning when I was going out and download it to pre-order it, that I wasn't going to get it on date because I was very late to pre-order it. And I also heard that, like, everyone was pre-ordering it, like, every day.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with not getting it at launch because my aim was that it's actually like my girlfriend is actually paying for it as a Christmas present. Like, this is my Christmas present this year. So in my head, I was like, if I get it by Christmas or a little after Christmas, like, I'm happy enough because that's kind of what it was for.
Yeah.
I'm actually not worried. I'm not annoyed or anything. It's not like, obviously we do this podcast, but it's a hobby kind of thing, really. Like, we're not, critics who need it launch day so that we can talk about it and, get all the views and get the hits because we're right on time with the launch and everything. Like, there's really no panic on it for me, to be honest.
No.
I could probably go in and get an Xbox, though.
Yeah. Okay. We have to finish this discussion. The last thing that was shown. We'll take another 2 hours to talk about. No, I'm joking. Okay, so he said, the guy was like, now you know, and blah blah blah, and talked to me about
now
it.
You know.
Now you know. The way he said it was so funny. But then he went, we've got one more thing to show you. And at this point, I was pretty certain it was going to be another look at Horizon. I was like, because that's the one they saved for the last time. They showed Resident Evil and Deathloop again, so like it wasn't like as if they weren't not showing games again.
Yep.
I was like, oh, all right, we're probably going to see Horizon gameplay, and then they're probably going to give us an idea of the launch date for Horizon, because a lot of people are excited about that, myself included. But it wasn't Horizon. It wasn't Horizon. Holy shit.
Read it, boy. Go on.
So yeah, as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, oh my god, that's God of War. And then I could see the logo coming and the music started. I was like, it's God of War 2. What are you doing? What? I knew he'd sent out a tweet saying there's one coming, but I didn't think they were ready to say anything about it. I thought they just started on it. And then at the end when it went 2021, I don't even believe it. I don't actually believe it's going. I think it's going to get delayed. Not to be pessimistic, but I'm like, there's no way that game is ready to come out next year. Really? Adam, you weren't so sure it's a sequel.
No. Well, like it could be a sequel, but it's not a PS5 game. It's coming out on PS5, but it's not a PS5 game. That's my 2 cents. I'm hoping I'm completely wrong, but I think this is like a Halo Infinite kind of vibe, where it's like it's a game you're running on the same engine. Because think about it, if it's coming out next year, like it's built, it's made.
That's why I don't believe it's coming
done,
next year.
Essentially,
I don't
have
think
to
it
like
is.
clean it up. So
Yeah.
I think it's like there was even bits cut out of the first God of War. There's bits that they cut out of the first God of War. I think these are those bits, and they're adding on to it. It's the other realms that we didn't get. I'm sorry, man, but this is this is just giving you some truth bombs here.
This is Ragnarok.
This is the PS4 game.
Yeah, the subtitle of it is a bit too big for like. It's the extended edition.
Yeah,
There was
like,
no
you think-
3
subtitle.
hours.
There was no
Ragnarok
subtitles.
is coming.
It just said Ragnarok is coming. We don't even know if that is the title.
That's the fucking subtitle, man.
I
Fuck's
think
sake.
I
you don't fucking do Norse mythology and then not subtitle
I
something
think
Ragnarok.
this is yeah, you could be right. They probably are going to the other realms. I think this is the official sequel, though.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe.
the official sequel. I don't think it's like a spin-off or like a little side-on or an Arkham Origins kind of thing. I think this is the sequel. I think it's God of War, Ragnarok. You're probably going to kill Thor at the end of it. Like I think it's a big time, big story,
Sure.
the real deal.
Okay.
I think
They said they were working on a sequel, and then they announced this.
We're totally going to talk about this for another 2
I
hours.
still think
if it is,
I still think it's a PS4 game.
It could be. That doesn't distract from the fact that it's God of War 2 or 8.
if it is God of War 8, I think it is God of War 8, but they call it God of War 5. They don't even know what fucking number they're on.
It's God of War Ragnarok. As far as I
it's
know,
a bit
that's what they're
early to
calling
be
it.
bringing Ragnarok into the mix, I
Stop.
think. But maybe
No, stop. Why would you not want? No, shut the fuck up. Ragnarok.
It's supposed to be
Shut
trilogy.
the front door. Ragnarok is about the beginning, not the end.
But you have to get to the end
Yeah.
for it to begin again.
So imagine what the third one would be.
Do you want to know how fucking stupid I felt though
What?
when I saw the logo? Right.
Yeah.
I saw like it's the Omega symbol, but it's also the Ouroboros symbol from Norse mythology, and I saw the wolf head and the tail, and I was like, "That's so fucking clever, that logo."
What the fuck?
Oh, wait, no, wait for it. And then I was like, did they do something like that with the other one?
Oh jeez.
And I picked up the case of
Fucking
the other God
hell.
of War and looked at it only today, and I looked at it and went, how did I not see that before? It's right there. That's the fucking what? It's the same symbol. It's just blue. I thought it was a new logo, and I was like, "That's a sick." I had planned to talk about how cool the new logo is and how much you can read into it. And then I realized they did that for the first one.
Yeah, that's old. That's old new, Chris.
I'd like to backtrack back to the first one and say that logo is genius.
It actually is. It really is. I love when you get stuff that is very iconic in its shape, but you manage to change it and adapt it to suit. It almost feels as though like they designed the logo first and then made the story up around it, but I'm sure that's not the case. But
No,
yeah,
I
it's
think
really
so.
cool. It is really cool.
It's cool how it worked out. Eric, were you excited for what I think is the God of War sequel?
Well, it's definitely a
I mean,
sequel. Of course, it's a sequel.
I watched the reveal trailer after your man in work told me that there was God of War Ragnarok.
Jesus Christ, you really do miss out on all of these.
That's because
Watch the showcase.
yeah.
Then you can't miss it.
But I was in work, man.
No,
I'm sorry,
after. What you should do is, I know, like,
No,
people
no,
are going
but
to.
your
I know,
man,
yeah. People tell you about
while
the
in
trade.
work was telling me everything.
Why
I know,
isn't it
but-
up on a projector? You work in a cinema. There's no
Yeah,
one
I
there.
watched the
Literally
showcase.
put
Because
it up.
actually every screen had somebody. It was so annoying. And we keep trying to like hook up Netflix or something to our
No,
main.
you don't. Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to say that?
Should you be making that public?
We're trying.
Yeah, this may or may not be a joke. Sorry. Anyway, well,
Anyway, what I'm fucking, you know me with my Norse mythology, so it's gonna be savage.
I do know you. I don't know much about the Norse mythology.
No, but you know me when it comes to Norse mythology.
the second I saw Ragnarok is coming, I was like, Eric would be like just giggling right now. Like, that's all I could think. And when I saw 2021, I was like, I don't believe it. I really don't.
Because
Believe
now
it.
we've seen Jormungandr, so all we now have to see when it comes to Ragnarok is Fenrir and Hel. And
Yeah.
Surtur. And all the gods.
Yeah.
Because Ragnarok
But
is
knowing the twist of the first game as well, like, I'm just really interested in where this is going to go.
It's gonna be fucking weird because
Yeah.
that child has got some work to do.
Yeah, okay. Look, I'm excited for it. My personal thoughts, it's not going to come out next year. My personal thoughts is it's going to get delayed. My personal thoughts is at the moment they're aiming for a November, early December launch for this God of War game. But it will be delayed then till March or April of 2022. But if it's not great, like I'm not being negative. Like I all they did was a voice and a logo, and I was like, that's the best thing I've seen.
That is the weird thing with it, though. You see, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if it's coming out next year, normally if a game is kind of early in its development, then you get a logo reveal, right? But if the game is coming out next year, why not show any footage?
That's why the 2021 shocked me so much. I was like,
Maybe,
That's why I
They're
think
like-
it's a PS4 game.
maybe it's like
even if it is, what does that make it? That why does that matter? If a lot of the games at the start are going to be both, why does that matter? Like God of War, the first one looked amazing.
Yeah, it did. I just think that I don't know. I just think they're just going to. They're kind of chewing words. Like Jim Ryan also said, like that. There's going to be generations. You know what I mean? But now all of a sudden, the next few years of games are actually cross-platform.
Right.
So I think that's one thing I really like about Microsoft and Xbox is how upfront they are with everything.
Yeah.
We seem to be getting kind of mixed messages with the PS5, what they're doing with it. Obviously, this is going to be an incredible game. If in, like, you know, first God of War was, or fourth God of War was Game of the Year. Well deserved it. It's a fucking incredible game. This thing is going to sell crazy. You have no doubt that it's going to be brilliant. But there is just that whole. It's unfortunate that the PS4 feels like it's going to be holding back PS5 games to some degree.
I hear you. I get you. I get what you're saying.
maybe though it's just a reveal logo
For a trailer,
and in 2021 you're gonna get a trailer.
maybe.
I think Eric has hit the nail on the head,
I
and
think
with
that's
that,
what it is.
we actually have to finish up our discussion. But please do let us know. Like, I gotta say, overall, I came out of the showcase pretty hyped. It's only afterwards I started thinking about things and going, "Oh, I wish I saw more." I actually wish I saw.
You know what I
more
really
things
wanted
that-
to see?
console itself. Yeah.
The
Go on.
fucking interface. How do I use the thing?
I use the controller.
That's for you to discover, Adam. But yeah, no, for the most part, I'm going to say I came out of it hyped for the games that are to come. I'm excited for 2021. I'm excited for this Christmas. There's a light at the end of this horrible COVID tunnel, maybe, in the entertainment world.
Unless, is that Ragnarok a prediction?
They're just letting us know.
That 2021 is the end.
They're just letting us know. It's not a game at all. Just when there's no gameplay. Oh, God. Yes, that sums up our conversation. Please do let us know if you're watching us on YouTube. Jump into the comments and let us know what you thought about any of those games, and also which console are you looking forward to getting? PS5, either edition, or the Xbox Series S or Xbox Series X. Which one are you more inclined to go for? Or maybe none of them. Maybe like none of them are impressing you, or they're not your thing, or you're not looking forward to the next generation just yet. And do let us know, yeah, which games you're most looking forward to. And if you were listening to us in audio form, then jump into the social media. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to let us know what you thought of this episode and everything else, and disagree with us and argue with us or agree with us, whatever you feel. Let us know. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Not only can you tell me I'm wrong, I hope I am.
He read that off a fortune cookie.